for today's look, I am going to do a natural makeup look, and I'm going to be using the Natural Eye Palette by Too Faced. And as you can see, mine has been tinted. I hit pan on Honey Pot, which is non-existent in my palette anymore, but I had a special request to use this particular palette and do this tutorial, so here we are. Alright, so for natural makeup, it's kind of up to you as far as foundation goes on how your skin looks. Do you have overall even skin tone? Do you have any redness? What is it that you're trying to achieve? So I am going to use a slight amount of foundation just to kind of prep my. I'm using the Giorgio Armani, it's the Power Fabric Longwear High Coverage foundation in shade 4. I'm just going to put it on the back of my hand this time, and I think I'm going to test out this crown brush that I just got in my BoxyCharm. Let's see how it goes. It's my first time using any kind of brush like this, so let's see how it goes. So if you're wanting to do a natural kind of makeup look and you don't want to use foundation, go ahead and skip this step. But for me, I have like a little bit of redness and a little bit of uneven skin tone, so I just kind of want to go over it, just even out my skin tone. Oh, I like this brush, I do have to say that. I didn't put on any primer, anything like that, just straight foundation for right now. So, just gonna make sure that it's all even on the edges, still blended underneath. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to, I think I'm going to add a little bit of bronzer, and I'm going to use the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and mine is pretty much almost gone, and I'm just going to do a little hint of it just to kind of give me some color. I'm going to use a Morphe G36. It's kind of a big brush, but I just want to add a little bit of warmth to my face. Nothing too crazy. And again, you can definitely skip this step too if you're not wanting to put anything really on your face. You don't have to. Alright, so now I am going to go directly to the eyes. I am going to use a primer, and I am going to use my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer as my primer today. And I just got a new one, so it opens. Alright, so just gonna put a little tiny dot, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take my index finger and rub it in. You can use a brush if you don't want to rub it in with your finger. It's completely up to you. Alright, and so that's all rubbed in there. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the MAC 224, and I am going to go into this Day color right here. It's super, super light, and I'm just going to apply that all over the lid as just kind of a base. So when I put on my other eyeshadows, it won't skip. And I feel like when you're doing natural makeup, kind of the important things too would be blush and like a really pretty like either nude or like pinky toned lip color. I think it really completes that whole look. So for eyes, I'm going to use this transition shade, which is Velvet Revolver, and it's just in that top row right there. It's actually the only other matte shade in this particular palette. And it doesn't have to be this particular palette, it could be any palette that has these neutral type colors in it. Just looking for a mirror. I'll use this one. All right, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put that right in my crease. So I'm just, remember, wherever you put down the brush first is where the most color is going into this other eye now. Same process. Just going to put a transition shade right in there. And I'm going to go, all of the rest of the colors in this palette are pretty much shimmer shades. I'm going to add Classic. I'm going to add Classic to the outer edges. And I'm still using that same fluffy brush, the 224 by half. And I just put it in the outer corner and I put it right over the transition shade we used. And then I'll do it from the inner corner and bring it out. And do that on the other side. I'm not much of a natural look type person. So it's a little bit hard for me sometimes to just keep it tame. I like to add color and sparkle and all kinds of craziness. So that's what I have so far. I feel like I want to go back and add some of this day right to just the actual lid. With maybe a flat brush. So I'm going to use this Kylie brush and it's flat. I'm just going to dip into Day. This brush really isn't the best. It's super, super stiff and I don't know, I really don't like it. And I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of pat it onto the lid itself. And I just want to create just a little bit of a difference between that transition and then the eyelid itself, just to add just a little bit of contrast. And if you wanted to, you could do a little bit of Fix Plus, which I can show you what that looks like too. So I'm just going to get some more Day on my brush and take my Fix Plus. And then I'm going to go back to just putting it directly onto the lid. And same thing for the other side. The brush itself is still a little bit wet. And I'm just doing it to the exact shape of my eye. And then what I think I'm going to do is go in with one of the Urban Decay brushes that came with one of their palettes. I think it was the Alice in Wonderland. And I'm just going to add a little bit of Cocoa Puff, which is this darker kind of shimmery brown. So that's what that looks like. And I'm just going to very carefully, gently pick up some with my brush, tap off the excess, because again, it's natural. We just want to add a little bit of contrast there. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it on that outer corner and pull it right across the center of my crease. And just, you can kind of pull it down. You can kind of make it like a cat eye type shape if you like. That's the look that I like. And if you wanted to keep it completely like neutral and natural, you don't need to add this last step of the Cocoa Puff. You can definitely leave that off. You could add Honey Pot if you chose to instead, which is kind of this goldish shimmer shade, and it just kind of gives it a little bit of pop to it without being overwhelming. but I'm gonna go back in with Cocoa Puff. I added a little bit more, and I'm just gonna focus more here in this corner, the outer corner. And I'm just kind of pressing it down and then pressing it back up and towards the crease. And that's it for that. I am gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just gonna put it right on that outer corner, bring it up, and I'm just pulling it across that crease. Alright, and so, like I said before, just taking it back up through that crease, and just kind of taking it, you can even take it kind of down your lash line. If you're going for a natural look, I would say to skip the eyeliner. Or what you could do if you still were feeling like I want a little bit of eyeliner, you could also use that cocoa color, and you could use just like an angled brush, and you could just apply it to your lash line or your lower lashes. But that's really, if you do the lower lash line, it's really taking you out of that natural look realm. So you kind of have to make that decision on your own if that's what you want to do. So that would be it for this palette. Something that I do really like is this Pixi by Petra. It's a lower lash mascara, but I feel like when you use it on your top lashes, it's not thick, it's not clumpy. If you have naturally long lashes, I feel like this would accentuate your lashes and just make them look amazing. For a natural look, this is what I would recommend, something really light like this. It has a very, very thin wand, and I would just apply that to the lashes and really make sure that you're getting down there at the base of the lash, so you're getting it all. With this wand, it also allows you to get into that inner corner, the outer corner, and really make sure that you get those lashes also. It helps to make your eye look bigger. Do something to the other side. And I feel like it's a little bit easier to separate your lashes so you don't have that clumpy lash look either with this. I wouldn't put any on my lower lashes, again, because that really takes you away from the natural look. Puts you more like in a glam-ish kind of look. So my eyes are done. For eyebrows, this is kind of definitely up to you. You can either just spoolie them and be done with it, or if you want to add a little bit to your brows and fill them in slightly, you could do that. I'm going to be using the Goof Proof Brow Pencil by Benefit in shade number 2. And the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of spoolie them. And then I'm going to go ahead and just fill in the sparse areas versus really carving them out, because it could be too heavy for this look. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill them in. And I'm not really shaping them or anything, I'm just really going with the natural shape. I'm just adding in a little bit of coverage where it's sparse. That's it. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And that's all I'm going to do for eyebrows. And the next thing I'm going to do is blush. And so I recommend using like a really light, soft blush. So I did bring out Too Faced Love Hangover. It's in this really, really small pan, but I think it's going to be like the perfect, that right there, the perfect kind of pinky color for that natural look. So I am going to use I'm not sure what this is as far as brand is concerned, but this, I'm just going to start adding a little bit. Now blush is one of my favorite things to wear, so I may wear it a little bit heavier than you might, and so that's something to consider. And I would do a little bit on your nose, just kind of a little bit around the top of your forehead. You just want to create a natural kind of flush look. And for lips, I'm going to do, I believe it's called Dopey, and it's one of these little ColourPop minis. They do have it in the regular size. It's just a really pretty, like, mauvey pink. So I'm just going to, I'm not putting on any lip liner, anything like that, just taking it directly to the lip. If you wanted to be a little bit extra, you could add a natural glow. And you can do that by adding a highlighter. And I think, you know what, I think I'm gonna skip the highlighter. Or maybe I'll just do, I'll do a little bit of the What's Up by Benefit. It is a cream based one, so I'm just gonna put it on my finger a little bit and just kind of dab it in that area. So I don't want to create too crazy of a glow. And you could do a little bit on your nose or on the bridge of your nose and Cupid's bow. And do a little bit of Fix Plus. It's the coconut one, it smells delicious. Alright, and this is the final look for a natural, easy, everyday makeup. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed my tutorial. If you've done this look or you have other ideas for looks that you might want to see, leave a comment down below. If you have this palette and you've done looks and you want to show me on Instagram, that would be awesome. Leave your Instagram handle up in the comments and I'll go check it out. And don't forget to subscribe and make sure you hit the little bell so you get notifications when I post new videos. Thank you.